Well, what's a starting question?
The big bad. They couldn't barely even describe the person.
Well, that's interesting. We don't know who the big bad is yet. But some things to keep in mind are we're going to have a substantial time cut. When we come back, Haley is going to have to first find a way to bring back Elijah, Freya, Cole, Rebecca. And then you can imagine that if she's successful, and there's going to be a lot of challenges to that mission. If she's successful, the first thing that the Michelson family is going to want to do is to go to town and get their brother. And how that happens, I think, is a big part of our story and something that we want to tell. The other thing I would ask you to imagine is to keep in mind that in the 5-year absence since the end of episode 322, New Orleans has changed. Remember that the link to the ancestral world is gone. So the witch's power has altered, it's changed, it's diminished, but it's also allowed them to find different resources and different methods of power. Marcel and Vincent have a tentative alliance, and there is and has been a time of peace. But of course, when things are peaceful, there's an opportunity for other factions to come in and have a point of view about taking power and growing restless and wanting to disrupt the status quo. So one of the things we really wanted to do in season 4 is to focus on New Orleans. New Orleans is a town which is rich with ghost stories, spirit stories, werewolf stories, vampire stories. So how do all of those factions mix together in a melting pot that would be upset and off balance by the return of the Michelsons? And if they come back, what are they going to face and who are they going to have to come to head with? And if we love Marcel and we love the Michelsons and we eventually want them to come back together and resolve their conflicts, you can imagine that they're going to have to be challenged by something that's even more horrific and terrible than they themselves. And I think one of the key things to keep in mind is with the 5-year time jump, we will have an older version of Hope Michelson. And so I think one thing that all of our characters would be able to get behind on is a threat to Hope and to the other children of New Orleans. New Orleans-born witches, New Orleans-born werewolves, New Orleans-born people. There's something that's happening to them. And when the Michelsons find out about that, and when Marcel finds about that, they're all going to have to come together in I think, a pretty interesting way. So a lot of tentative alliances, and then ultimately some opportunities for reconnecting those broken bridges.
Will Vampire Diaries ending this season be affecting the originals at all? Like, does it present new opportunities or anything that you're looking forward to with?
So far, I think, we did a crossover last year. We had a couple opportunities for crossovers. Our people going to their show, their people coming to ours. And in fact, Elijah and Finn went on a mission to Mystic Falls and crossed paths with Matt. I know from Julie that they have a lot of big plans for the final season of Vampire Diaries. And as far as I know, given that we're on different time frames, it's going to be tough to imagine how our characters, who will be sleeping for the duration of the time period that the final season of Vampire Diaries is going to occupy, I don't see that happening. In the future, I'm sure there's always a possibility, and that's something that Julie has expressed interest in, so I'll look to her for guidance on that one.
Can you tell us a little bit about Hope now that she's a little bit older? We knew she had some abilities previously, but will those be growing or further explored?
Absolutely. That's a big part of what we want to do is take a look at who this person is and what her powers, what her abilities are. In the panel earlier today, I mentioned Stephen King being an influence. I really love the novel Firestarter, which is about a young girl with incredible power and how she comes to own that power, and how the people who love her have to try and fight very hard to guide her and teach her and mentor her and to provide her what she needs to grow and to understand her power. But just remember, this is the granddaughter of Esther Michelson. It is the daughter of a werewolf and a vampire, so, and both Haley and Klaus are hybrids. But I guess my point is, Hope has the werewolf gene, and she also has magic that is imbued with the mystical blood of an original. So there's a lot going on with that kid, and very excited to explore.
That must be a little stressful for Haley at this point.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. But I think the 5-year time jump has also been a great opportunity for her to bond with her daughter. And I think that those two, whereas Klaus has had a devastatingly abusive relationship with his parents, Hope will not have that. Hope will have a great relationship with her mom, and once her dad returns, I think there's going to be a beautiful curiosity on both of their parts to get to know each other. And, I think Klaus is a monster, and I think he has been a villain, but I am very interested in exploring what this person who's very much aware that he had bad parents and who doesn't want to himself be a bad parent, what will be his relationship with his daughter. At first, he didn't want to have this kid. But now that she's here, and now that he's confronted with her, I think the magic of looking at her and feeling the desperate need to find a way to do right by her is one of the most beautiful things we're going to have an opportunity to dramatize on our show.
What can you tell us about Christina Moses' character?
She is a werewolf, and she is one of the last of her pack. Her family was hunted down and murdered by Lucian in an attempt to eradicate the werewolf pack that was the final key ingredient to undoing the bite that he has now given and that Marcel now has, and that can be used even to kill an original. So Haley has been looking for this person for a very long time, and in finding her, she might have the ability to save her family, but at what cost? This is an innocent person. She's actually a trained doctor. She believes in doing the right thing. She's a good person. She's smart. She's got, a kind of sarcastic sense of humor. She's a fighter, but she's, someone who we will recognize as another innocent brought into this supernatural war. And Haley will be fully aware of the fact that in order to save her family, she may have to kidnap and hold hostage and torment this innocent person. And what does that do to Haley, and what does Keelan feel about it? So Christina Moses is an awesome actor. I loved her on Containment. I'm so excited to have her on the show. She's going to be great.
Gotta take you guys. Thank you.